Hey guys, Dave here. Welcome to the Centurions Review, the punk rock band of Wargame Review Institutions. This is going to be a long unboxing because this is a big game with like thousands upon thousands of counters and stuff. So let's take a look. This, like I said, this is Warren the Pacific from Decision Games. This is our biggest game. It took me about over an hour just to inventory this and make sure all the parts were there, but after looking through it and after looking at the rule book, I'm not going to have any time to play some monster game like this or the room until probably after I retire, so I'm just going to end up reselling this. It was nice to look at the components and stuff, but like I said, I got no room to set this up. I mean, this takes up at least, oh my god, I couldn't even imagine the amount of room this is going to take up and so forth, so I just don't have the time for this. I got a million things going on, but once I retire, I'll probably get another 20, 30 years from now, whatever it is, I'll get another copy of this and then try it. But anyhow, so it includes 4 rule booklets, 2 chart booklets, 30 assorted log sheets, 20 assorted table displays, 8,960 die-cut counters. That's 8,960. 7 34 by 22 inch maps, 24 11 by 17 tactical maps, 2 6-sided and 2 10-sided dice, and storage bags. So the complexity is a 4, and solitaire suitability is a 1. So this is something you're going to want to play with an opponent. So I'm not going to go over what it's all about because this is just going to take forever just to show the components. Box has some significant shelfware, but the inner components are good. Alright. Here's the inventory sheet that comes with. They did a good job. Everything's there. Here's 4 dice. And lots of bags. This is the most bags I've ever seen come with a game. I don't even know if it's enough, because like it said, there's 8,960 counters, which is quite a bit. Right, here's where you keep track of the game turns, weather track, strategic cycle sequence, game turn sequence, strategic initiative. I can't go over everything here. It's going to take too long. But anyhow, let's just go over the sequences of play. That's kind of important. Merchant shipping phase, which has a Japanese S1. I can't go over all that. Strategic intelligence phase. Strategic bombing phase, command phase, attrition phase, submarine phase, reinforcement, replacement phase, production phase, and weather phase. And then the regular game turn sequence of play: weather phase, first air phase, first naval phase, second air phase, second naval phase, third air phase, third naval phase, and then the ground phase. So it's got air, ground, and naval going on in here, and there's a bunch of other charts and stuff on here. And here's the air surface tactical display. Withdraw zone surface tactical display. Breakdown display. Philippine guerrilla activity log. And there's all sorts of other logs in here. Japanese airpoint attrition. This one is ship refit yard period log. Yeah, I mean, where the hell would you set up all this shit? Sublog, base log for Japan. Allied intrinsic garrisons. Ship repair log. Allied coast watcher log. Allied command point log. Not sure what this is. I mean, I could see playing this game. He's spending all this time just trying to find the correct log to write on and stuff. There's so many of them. Strategic intelligence and magic, whatever magic is. Ship refit period log. Allied airpoint attrition. Not sure what this is. There's a bunch of these, actually. Ship repair log, U.S. Production arrival, miscellaneous reinforcements. More of this stuff. Ports activation limits. Construction log. Ship refit period log for 1942. Base log. Japanese production record, and this has a bunch of distances to different allied things. Japanese intrinsic garrisons. Hold on one sec. What else do we have? Another ship repair log for Japan. Can't have too many ship repair logs. Japanese command point log. Chinese provincial points. And more of these things. Amphibious operations planning. U.S. production record. Alright. See if I can keep these kind of neat so I can get them back in the box. Alright, here's the scenarios and campaign reinforcement book. Let's see if we can... let's start with the rule book, actually. Rule book has 88 pages. It's in black and white. Yeah, just flip through this. I'm not going over everything in it. Take forever. So you got a lot to read if you're going to play this. Alright, second book here is examples of play, optional rules, and designer notes. And this is 48 pages. So far that's about 100, what was this, close to 90, so that's about 140 pages so far. Just look through here. I would imagine there's probably lots of scenarios. Here's the optional rules. The 88-page rule book wasn't enough for all the rules. We had to have an optional rule book. Alright. And here's rule book number 2. So we're at about close to 140 pages. How many pages is this? Oh, 176. So let's see. Close to 320 pages so far. This one's black and white too, which is alright. Yeah, I'm just doing a quick flip through in here. Alright, here's another scenarios. I thought we had a scenario book before. No, that was an example of play and optional rules. Here's the scenarios, my mistake. How many pages is this? 64, but that's okay. It just means there's a lot of scenarios. I think this covers basically the entire Pacific War. Burma. Oh, there's lots of stuff. It's got mini campaigns too. Alright, here's chart book number 1. Wow. How many pages was that? 48. Here's chart book number 2. That one's 80 pages. Wow. And it's given the, telling you what the different things mean on the counters here. Yeah, playing a game of this, you'd be doing a lot of flipping through to get to the appropriate charts and stuff. Here's some, this has some blank counters on the top. Oh, it's got some more in there too. Wow. Now you have extension rules. I mean, what do we have so far? About 600 pages of rules, scenarios, and charts and examples of play, but need the extension rules too. That's 32 more pages. Wow. Wonder how this game is when you play it. If any of you have actually played this game, why don't you post in the comments section, let us know if it's a good game or not. Obviously, it's a huge game, and it's going to take a long time to read all the rules and charts and all that stuff and familiarize with yourself with the components and punch out the counters, but I'm just curious how it is when you actually play the game. Here's an extra little map in here, Andorra Islands or something. Never even heard of those. Here's a bunch of counters. Let me make sure I keep these unpunched. And it also includes more baggies. So these ones here are blank. Not sure what these number ones are for. Artwork looks alright. Actually, it looks good. Yeah, airplanes look really nice. Looks like you can drop atomic bombs too in this. Put these back in here. And I think this went in here too. And I think the extension rules are in here too. Actually, this unboxing's going pretty quick. I thought it was going to take forever. Alright, here's the bulk of the counters. Let me see how I'm going to do this without damaging the things. Since I got to sell this, I'll just show them to you one at a time. There's one. Everything's double-sided too. Like I said, the counters look good. They are good quality. More stuff. You would need like an entire dresser filled with counter trays if you were to punch these out, and you'd have to store them in an organized fashion or you would never ever find the counters you need. So you'd have to have like a dresser filled with a bunch of counter trays and have them all properly labeled and stuff. That's the only way you could do this and not go crazy trying to find counters later. And then after each game or scenario or whatever, you'd have to make sure you properly store them again. Here's the ground units. Ground units are just standard NATO symbols, but that's okay. They really did a nice job on the airplanes, though. Here's some naval bombardment mines. Wonder how many people have actually read the rules for this game and actually tried playing it or played it. Just curious. Looked on Board Game Geek. It looked like there was at least, I can't remember, it was a while back when I looked, but there was at least one guy who played it. Didn't sound like he liked it that much, though, but that's just one person's opinion. I don't start trusting, or I shouldn't say I wouldn't start trusting other people's opinions. I don't take them as fact until I've heard like a lot of people say something similar. A lot of times when you do research on a board game, you look at reviews from a few reviewers, see what's posted on Board Game Geek and stuff, and a lot of times you get conflicting information, and after you're more confused after reading it all, so you just have to try the game for yourself to see if it's really good or not. It's got phases of the moon here. Radar searches. There's lots of airplanes. What, do they have one airplane for each airplane that was in the war or something? I don't think it's 1-to-1, but they have a lot of airplanes in here. Oh, looks like the maps are underneath. Alright, look at these. It's got rain here and stuff. That's kind of cool. Looks like this is just a duplication of the previous one. More ground units. Lots of airplanes. More airplanes. More ground units. More ground units, and looks like, what do we have here? Got some air units up here. All sorts of stuff here. I'm not sure what some of, like this stuff, is that Naval? I'm not sure what that is. Yeah, those might be Naval. Yeah, I think they are. Yeah, bunch of ships. More airplanes. Alright, now we got maps and display boards. Let's see if I can get these out of here without destroying them. I don't know where I'm going to put them. Japanese base force display, followed by Japanese task force display. Alright, what do we have after this? We have air display, carrier air groups, and land-based air. This is land-based air display. General record track. I'm sure, like in each scenario you don't need like a small section of these components. Probably like I would guess a few maps and stuff, and a bunch of counters and so forth. Obviously, I would assume some of the scenarios use a hell of a lot of components, but I mean, just finding the components you need isn't easy unless you organize them really well. This is Japanese holding boxes. Allied task force display. Allied holding boxes. Allied general record track. Allied base force display. U.S. ground unit breakdown display. Dutch, Chinese, Soviet ground unit breakdown display. Interesting. Wonder if they're going to use using the Soviets in hypothetical. There wasn't atomic bombing of Japan, and the Soviets became more involved in the war or something, or where the Soviets are being involved in this. All right, here's Commonwealth, Australia, and New Zealand, Malay and Burmese ground unit breakdown display, and British, Indian, and African. Here's Allied air display for U.S. Navy carrier groups. So there's two things in here. Oh, so this opens out to be a huge thing here. Wow. Alright, Allied off-map movement display. It's kind of interesting. Tactical Island map sheet. This has Babuyan Group, Salajar, and Bataan Islands. More Palau South. I was there in this area by Peleliu and Palau and all that. Not sure which one. That might be Palau there. I scuba dive, so that's a nice place to scuba dive. Tons of sharks. Went to Peleliu too to visit the battlefields while I was there. That was cool. Took a ride there on a boat to get to it. It's kind of interesting because we went to it, the tour group we took, 80% of the people were like Japanese students and stuff, so it's kind of interesting that the Americans and Japanese were visiting the battleground together. The memorials that the Japanese left were actually very nice memorials. They weren't just memorials for the Japanese troops, they were also memorials for the Allied troops that were killed too, so I thought that was nice that they recognized everyone regardless of side with their memorials. Alright, here's some more islands. No shortage of maps here. Oh, and they're double-sided too, so you got another map on the other side. I forgot to mention that. Very nice. Guadalcanal. This is probably going to be a map that everyone who plays this is going to use for sure. Wake Islands, that was Marine Corps, their finest hour in my opinion. Tarawa. Midway, nice. Yeah, I think retail on this game's like, I forget if it's 420 or 480. I didn't pay that because I got it used. But yeah, it's obviously an expensive game being the amount of components that it has in it. Christmas Islands. Gotta tell you, even if you had no plan on playing this game, due to the size and stuff, it might still be worth getting, even if you're not going to play it, just to get these maps, because you could put together your own rules and do something just with these maps, make your own system. I mean, because this looks like it has every island of interest in this entire war, so... Yep. I got a friend who went there on a scuba diving trip. Not sure if he dove off that island or if he just stopped there or what, but I remember him saying he went to Yap. Norfolk, interesting. Christmas Island again. Nice. Hong Kong. Okinawa. Saipan. Washington Islands. I actually never heard of that. I just like the name. Oh, Andaman Islands. That's good scuba diving territory. Corridor, or Corregidor, however you pronounce it. I've heard of that. Here's a good size map. Let's see if I can unfold it. That's my dog. Alright, so this is India and stuff. Yeah. Alright, let's see what this one has. Alright, this guy, we got Outer Mongolia here, Sea of Japan, Japan itself. Down here we have the Philippines, Formosa. Interesting. They're nice maps. Like I said, you could, if you don't like these rules, you can make your own and just use these wonderful maps. And the counters are nice too. You could use those to do your own thing too if these rules don't interest you. Australia, that's a nice big map of Australia. East Indies, Dutch Timor. Yeah, when you put all these next to each other, you're going to take up quite a bit of room. Honshu, I think that's part of Japan. Could be wrong. And they got tons of islands down here. Here's the Marianas, Saipan. There's Guam. Okay. All right. Here's Australia again. And there's New Guinea. All right, down here we have Midway. And there's Hawaii, and lots of open ocean. And up here is the Bering Sea, the Red Islands and stuff. I'm not sure what that is. There's Fiji. And down here we have New Zealand. Lots of open ocean. Let's see what's up here. There's Washington Island and Christmas Island. And there's the Phoenix Islands. I don't remember ever hearing of those, but that's all the maps then. Thanks for watching. I'll spend the next hour or so trying to fit all this stuff back in the box, but I hope you learned a little bit about the components for this game. Have a good evening.